What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high because I had to buy something to feel something, and today we're back at it with another review. For today's review, we are taking a look at Hasbro's Star Wars The Black Series Captain Rex, specifically his Phase 1 appearance. And I can say with full confidence this has been a long-awaited figure ever since we got the Phase 2 Rex figure. I'm pretty sure people have been wanting to see Rex's Phase 1 appearance, myself included. And with the Ahsoka show giving us our first live-action Rex appearance, we finally have this figure, even though I feel like this figure is long overdue. And with that said, at any point during or after the video you do realize you want to pick up this figure for yourself, you can at a variety of locations, which I'm actually kind of surprised that Hasbro didn't make this an exclusive. They really like making the more sought out, or what they will think are the more sought out figures, exclusive, but I'm glad that Rex is accessible to a lot of people because I believe that everyone should have a Rex. Starting off with Old Reliable for $24.99, you can get this figure off of Hasbro Pulse, and then also for $24.99 off of Entertainment Earth and Amazon, and then moving it up $1 to $25.99, you can go to GameStop, and finally for a whopping $27.99 you can go to the Big Bad Toy Store. And I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but Big Bad Toy Store seems to be raising their prices, so be aware if you are planning to purchase anything off of there in the near future. For anyone who has pre-ordered something already, do not worry, they are not going to upcharge your pre-order. The charge will remain the same price, so you do have that going for you. But just heads up, Big Bad Toy Store is raising their prices on things. But with all that said, let's open up this long-awaited bad boy. And we have our standard Black Series packaging in the Ahsoka show colors, meaning this is part of the Ahsoka show series. And then when we flip this box over the side, we get a nice portrait of Rex with his name on the bottom. And then the other side isn't as exciting, just packaging. And then the back has, a brief description of what Rex is all about with another portrait, or the same portrait, just more focused in on his torso and face. And that's all the packaging, nothing too exciting, so let's open it up. And right out of the box, I can confirm that Rex is a good looking figure, which is always a good thing. And since he is a clone, he does reuse 95% of the modern clone mold. So if you own any of the newer clone figures, you should know what to expect. But if you are unfamiliar with the modern clone mold, it's solid. Hasbro did do a good job nailing the typical details and line work that you would see on clone armor. But you see, Rex isn't your average clone. He's got accessories. He's got a rangefinder, pauldron, a comma with holsters, and they all do look good. Starting off with the rangefinder, this is actually our second Black Series figure to be a clone with a Phase 1 helmet and a rangefinder, the first one going to Fordo when he came out. And then Rex's pauldron looks really good. I don't have anything too in-depth to go into. I just, again, think it looks really good and that Hasbro nailed it. And as for the comma, and unfortunately for those who care, including myself, the comma is not cloth goods, it is plastic. I really prefer cloth goods over plastic any day of the week, and I'm not going to sit here and act like this is our first plastic comma. It's not, so this isn't something that is foreign to us, but I do like it when, Hasbro goes out of their way and gives us a clone with a cloth comma, like with the Phase 2 Rex figure. But visually it's fine. It's just Rex's comma, that's black with the blue trim, and the holsters look great as well. So personally, I have no issues with the work that Hasbro has done here. I think that the sculpt work on this figure is solid. And as for the paint job, just like with the sculpt work, I think Hasbro did a great job. I mean, it's really hard to fuck up a clone's paint job, since for the most part clone armor is white. I know our boy Rex here is a little bit different because he is a special character. So to summarize it, the parts that are white are supposed to be white, the undersuit is black as it should be, and obviously he has the 501st blue, which I think Hasbro applied very nicely onto this figure. Obviously the most important part of his 501st paint job is the Shriek Hawk eyes on his helmet, and I think Hasbro nailed those. And overall, just very happy with the outcome here for Rex's paint job. Oh, and I don't know how I almost forgot, but the face mold, obviously Rex's helmet is removable, and when he has the helmet off, it is our favorite New Zealander, Tamira Morrison, with Rex's iconic choice haircut, which is... But if you've owned any other clone who can remove their helmets, you should know what to expect for this face mold. I'm not going to go into any detail about that. You can see for yourself that it's not terrible. So getting into articulation, starting off with the head region, we can rotate the head 360 degrees. Then we can bring Rex's head up and down a decent amount. And Rex's head can also be swayed side to side. And the pauldron kind of blocks it, but the neck can be articulated as well to help with the range in the head. And it can roughly move back and forth and side to side, which is nice to see. And then we can rotate the arms 360 degrees up and over. And it's nice to see that the pauldron doesn't get in the way of the arm articulation. And then we can bring Rex's arm up and down a decent amount, and again, the pauldron is not getting in the way. And then we can rotate the arm separately from the shoulder 360 degrees, and then we can get a nice elbow bend on Rex here. It goes past the 90-degree mark, which means I like it. By no means is he doing any shoulder taps, but it is still good range nonetheless. And you can rotate the forearm 360 degrees independently from the tricep bicep area and the shoulders as well. And then of course you can rotate the hands 360 degrees and bend the wrist however you please. And then moving to the torso, you can rotate the torso 360 degrees. And then you can have Rex's torso sway back and forth. And we can also sway his torso side to side as well. And then moving down to the legs, we can't rotate them 360 degrees because of the comma and the armor clashing with the waist piece, but we can get some decent range there nonetheless. And we can pivot the thigh independently from the waist piece. And then moving down the leg, we can get a really nice knee bend on Rex, and we can actually rotate the knee down 360 degrees independently from the rest of the leg. And then finally with the boot, you can rotate it 360 degrees and bend the ankle however you please. Now, to talk about the articulation, overall it's good. The modern clone mold is good. I have no issues with it personally, but one thing in particular that I want to talk about is the comma. And like I said earlier, it is plastic, not cloth goods. And now the reason why most people, including myself, prefer cloth commas over the plastic ones is because plastic commas typically hinder the leg articulation of a figure. It restricts the knee bend specifically, and it overall just kind of, limits how you can position your figure. Now, with Rex, there's a silver lining here. His comma is shorter than most, meaning it actually doesn't hinder the knees or the most of his leg articulation. You can still have him kneeling, you can still put him in a bunch of different positions, which is really nice, because it would have really sucked to see one of Star Wars' most beloved clones have shitty leg articulation. So I figured I would point that out and recognize the good with the bad. And for features and accessories, I have spoiled the majority of them, at least the ones that are on Rex's figure. And just to reiterate then, starting off, we have the helmet. It can be removed, so you can display him with or without it. So if you want your sexy New Zealander in all his glory, you can display him as such. If not, you want him like how I will probably display him with his helmet on, you can also do that. Staying with the helmet, there's a rangefinder on Rex's helmet, and this isn't the first time we've seen a rangefinder in the Black series, and it works just like any other. There's no really specific rabbit hole to go down into. It does its job, and it does it well. So moving over to the blasters included, Rex comes with two DC-17 blaster pistols, because of course he would. Those are his go-tos. He is known for dual wielding them in almost every episode that he is in, and Hasbro did a great job with these accessories. I've seen them 1,000 times. They're painted just black with, a handful of details sculpted into them. They're very good. Don't need to go any more further in depth about them. But if you don't want to display them in Rex's hands, obviously Rex has holsters for them for you to put them in, and they work just as intended. And overall, very good accessories. And here we are at the turntable segment of the video, pretty much where I go over what I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, weaknesses, whatever you want to consider it. Just give my general thoughts and opinions out on the figure, give y'all something to bounce off of, go down in the comment section below, and get a conversation started about this figure. And obviously, I will respond to your comments because I love talking about this stuff clearly. And in this segment, I like to kick things off with the negative just to get it out of the way because I don't like dwelling on the negative any longer than I already have to. And fortunately, well, in a perfect world, there would be no issues with this figure, but fortunately, there's only one issue, and it's the fact that Rex's comma is plastic. Now, like I said earlier, it is shorter, so it doesn't really get in the way as much as the standard clone comma would, but in a perfect world, we would have gotten a cloth comma because cloth goods are better than plastic goods, in my opinion, and within reason, I'll admit. So, yeah, my only issue is that I wish that we got a cloth comma over the plastic one that comes with this figure. And getting into what I do like about this figure, and it's pretty much everything else, starting off with the visuals. The sculpt work is great. I mean, he is reusing a mold that Hasbro has been putting out for a while now, so I would be very concerned if all of a sudden they started messing up the modern clone mold. So very happy with the sculpt work, and of course the paint work as well. Again, it's very hard to mess up a clone's paint job because mostly it's white and black. I know our boy Rex here is special, and I really enjoy what they did for the blue and the Shriek Hawk eyes and just everything that makes Rex Rex. I think they nailed pretty good. And then going to the articulation, everything else is great. Again, this is a mold they've been reusing for a while. They've gotten down the articulation. I'd be very concerned if they somehow made the articulation worse all of a sudden, but the articulation for the modern clone mold is solid in my opinion. If anything, they could make the forearm bend come up a bit more, but after that, I am very happy with what we have. And then going into the accessories, granted, he only comes with 2 blaster pistols, and I'm very happy with how those came out. I mean, again, these are the same blaster pistols we've been seeing for a while now, so what we have is to be expected, and, you know, Hasbro did hit the box. So overall, very happy. Maybe he could have come with some more blasters, but I mean, for what we have, it was executed well. And I know I'm just over here absolutely glazing this figure, but the moral of the story is that Hasbro was given the job, they did the job, and they did it well. I can admit that this figure doesn't reinvent the wheel. It is your standard Black Series figure, but the standard of quality that Black Series has is one that I am happy with, and I would assume a lot of people are, especially with the clone mold. So I'm just saying, yeah, no, this is a good figure. Hasbro did the job, they did it well, and I feel like I can say good job for, you know, doing that. So at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the figure that we got. I think for the price that it comes at of $24.99, it is well worth getting this iconic clone figure. Your boy Rex is one of my favorite clone characters in Star Wars, and I would recommend this figure to anyone who wants to start growing their clone army. Rex is an absolute must. But at the end of the day, if you have this figure, please tell me what you like and dislike about this figure. I would like to know your thoughts and opinions. If not, again, links are in the description of the video, so you can pick up this figure, and then after that, tell me your thoughts and opinions on this figure. But with all that said, if you did enjoy today's video, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. Don't worry about commenting at all if you don't want to. I get it, moving those fingers is hard, but if you do want to bounce off anything I did say, you are more than welcome to, and I most likely will reply to all y'all comments because I love talking about this stuff clearly. And don't worry about the bell, we both know that shit is broken. And if you want to see more content like this, I've already reviewed a handful of Star Wars The Black Series figures here on the channel, but I also review stuff from other franchises as well, such as Halo, Alien, Predator, Alien vs. Predator, and Warhammer. So if any of those franchises interest you, by all means, go check those videos out as well. And with all that said, please have an amazing day and stay hydrated. It's important.